Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about not exactly my TBR, but my October hopefuls. I'm in a really bad reading slump, so I'm going back to mood reading for a little bit. I feel like these books that I've been forcing myself to read lately have not turned out great. So we're going to go back to mood reading, and October is like the best month for mood reading because I'm always in the mood for dark, spooky, witches, horror, etc. So I'm excited. The books that I have on this list are, I don't expect to get to all of them. I just don't. I don't expect to get to all of them. I also don't expect to stick to this list, but these are a list of books that I think I'm really going to enjoy for the October month and probably into November. So we're going to talk about these really fast, and we're also going to be talking about Stabathon, who I don't know all of the hosts for it, but I know Riveting Reads, who I follow, is a host. And Scream is one of my favorite franchises ever. Doesn't matter if it's thriller, horror, romance. I like it better than anything else. I love the Scream franchise. It is a weird obsession of mine. So I was like, of course I'm gonna have to read some books for it and watch the movies this week. So it does start today, and I'm trying to put this out today, October 3rd. I think it said, I have my little notebook with it written down. It says October 3rd to 9th. But yeah, so this pile, I'm not like going out of my way to pick books for the prompts for Stabathon. I just pick the books that I think I'm going to like a lot, and then we'll see if they fit in with the prompts. And I think they do. I've gone over the prompts. There's only 5. So I think I have a book that can match each one, but I'm not going to go out of my way to pick them this week. I'm definitely not going to be able to read 5 books this week, so I'm kind of extending Stabathon for me for the whole month. That's kind of how I do readathons. If I force myself to read certain books in a small period of time, it doesn't go well most of the time. So yeah, so anyway, let's talk about the books that I'm trying to get to. A lot of these books, they're already on my shelf. I'm trying to get through the books on my shelf, and it turns out I don't have like that many horror left. I really don't buy that much horror because I'm really picky. Mostly I read a lot of Darcy Coates. I have a Darcy Coates on this list. Random authors here that if there's like a popular book coming out, I'll pick one up. But I don't really like Stephen King. I don't like a lot of the popular horror authors. I don't like stuff that's overly gratuitously violent. So I'm not like the best person to get advice about horror books. I do love thrillers, and I like young adult horror. I do have a lot more young adult horror than adult horror. But this is going to be a mix of some different like Halloween vibes. It's a lot of, I feel like it's all my horror from my entire house. So we're going to see. And I think I have I have one like witchy book, but I definitely have more upstairs. I just wasn't in like the mood to pick out witchy books right now. So it's mostly like dark stuff and thrillers. So I'm pretty excited about this, and we'll see how many I actually get through at the end of the month. But first, let's talk about a book that I've been working on for a while, and it's called Final Cuts. And this is just a really, I dropped it onto a spider web. But this is just a really cool, it's Final Cuts, New Tales of Hollywood Horror and Other Spectacles. So I've actually read the first 2 stories in this, but it's a collection of short stories that specifically are short stories about film. So whether it be like YouTube or podcasting or actual movies or TV series, it's on sets basically, and it's so cool. The 2 stories that I've read in here, so good, so good. So I'm really excited to continue reading this, and I think this is a really good October pick. Next up, we have a book that's been on my shelf for a while, but it is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. This, you can tell, I picked it up when it was a Barnes & Noble Book of the Month, and I think it was, it's been a really long time since this was their Book of the Month choice. All I know about this book is it's following a sister, and her 2 sisters disappeared when they were kids and came back kind of weird, and then later in life, they're like at the end of high school, one of their friends or someone disappears, and they're trying to figure out what's going on and how it's connected to what happened before. So again, I try not to go into books like this. This is like kind of an odd book I've heard, so I didn't want to like learn too much about it, because I feel like if I learn too much and I'm like, oh, it's too weird, I'm not going to want to read it, and I won't like it just because in my head I'll be like, this is weird, this is supposed to be weird. So I'm trying to go into this one little information as possible. I really do want to get to this one because this one has been on my shelf for a while, so I'm kind of trying to prioritize the ones that have been on my shelf for a while, but also, I don't know. It just depends what kind of mood I'm in. The next book on my list is Prom House by Chelsea Mueller. And this is part of the Underline series. I have read Horror Hotel and I think one more by them, but it's all different authors that all are published by this, like, I think Underline's like a small indie publisher, and they're all really, really short, and they're all, for the most part, I think there's one, like, literary fiction one, but they're all, like, thrillers or horrors, and so it doesn't have good ratings, but I mean, come on, it's literally a slasher that's going to take place after prom in a house. It's perfect for Halloween. I don't care if it's, like, gimmicky. This is perfect. I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be really fun. This is probably one I will pick up because, I mean, this is perfect Halloween material. The next one that I'm going to try to pick up, and I probably will because it's really short, is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And I have actually just finished The Hollow Places 2 months ago. And I really, really liked it, and it really freaked me out. So I really wanted to pick up another T. Kingfisher book, and this one's really, really short, so I'm really excited, and it's also supposed to be like a retelling of The House of Usher, so I think I can get through this one pretty fast for Halloween, and I think it'll be a really good one to kind of spur reading on. So, because sometimes when I read too long of books, I get stuck. So I think this one's going to be a really, really good one to keep me moving through books. The next one that I picked up is another T. Kingfisher, but it's more witchy vibes. This is supposed to be their non-scary book, Nettle and Bone, and it's kind of like, I'm trying to remember what this one is about. Look at that artwork. It's so cool, but I know she has like a dog made of bone, and I want to say that it's just like a witchy book and magic. So to me, this is going to be a fun one to pick up after I've read some thrillers and scary books. This is going to be one of my witchy vibe Halloween-y books that I'll pick up to kind of break up the scary. The next one that I might pick up, I don't know. I tried to do this for Summerween, but I ended up running out of time, but it is called Ecstasia, and it is following like a young woman who is an exorcist, and it's in like olden, what year was it in? It's in like way back when. So I think this sounds really, really fun. This was an Unplugged Book Box pick. I have a nice little book plate. And this one sounds really cool. It's just long, so it doesn't, I don't want to pick it up. It's because I just really don't do well with really long books. I get twitchy and bored, so this has really got to keep my attention if I'm going to pick it up. But I really, really want to at the same time because it sounds so cool. Like, exorcist stuff that's like super Halloween. Maybe I'll put on like The Conjuring and watch this at the same time. It kind of sounds fun. The next one that I want to pick up is kind of just like, it, again, hasn't done that well on Goodreads, but I saw it and I had to have it because of the spine. Like, come on. So it's called Campfire, and it's by Sean Sarles, and it seems like it's just going to be one of those campy thriller stories where people are stuck out on the woods and they're around a bonfire and they're hearing scary stories, and yeah, I am super down for reading this book. I don't love the front cover. It freaks me out. I love the font, though. But I love the creepy spine. I love that. And I'm very excited, even though, I mean, I kind of try to ignore readings, especially for horror books. People are all over the place for horror books, so I might end up loving this, or at least enjoying the ride. Again, it's not, like, too long of a book, but I'm really excited about this one. Definitely seems Halloween fall vibes. The next one that I'm going to pick up is actually going to be part of my current reading vlog that I'm doing. So I'm currently doing a reading vlog where I'm reading thrillers to try and get myself out of a reading slump, because thrillers are normally my go-to for vibing with books. If I'm struggling with books, I'll default to either young adult fantasy or thrillers, and young adult fantasy is not doing it for me right now. I just DNF'd like 3 books, soft DNFs, because I know it's rough right now. Soft DNF like 3 young adult fantasies, so I am staying away from young adult fantasy for right now, and I'm trying to do thrillers. So I really want to read The It Girl by Ruth Ware. This one has had really good reviews, and it sounds really, really good, but it's following 2 friends, and one of them is obviously like the It Girl, and she goes missing. So the other friend's trying to figure out what's going on, who maybe be the bad person, and it sounds like a really generic thriller, but great at the same time, because it's a great plot. That's a great plot line. So I think it's gonna be a really good one. The next one I tried to read for last Halloween, but I ran out of time and I just wasn't like vibing with it at the time, because last Halloween I feel like I was much more in a witchy vibe compared to this Halloween where I'm much more in a thriller horror vibe. But this one I'm going to try and read this year. Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. I am really excited because Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite Halloween movies besides the Scream series. I watch it every year. I absolutely love Clarice. She is everything. I adore her. She's such a strong female character. I love her. So I have heard mixed reviews about this book, especially the later ones. I'm not planning on reading the later ones, I don't think, because of the interesting plot line that it takes. But I am really excited to read this one, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video where I read this and then watch the movie and talk about what I liked and didn't like between the two. So I'm really excited to read this one. It's actually not that long. I think I have like a wide print one. Like the print is huge. So I don't think it's actually as long as this seems, but I'm so excited to read this finally. The next one that I'm reading is actually one I'm currently reading, and it is also for the thriller vlog. And it is Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard. I'm 160 pages into this book, and I'm enjoying it. We're not going to really talk about that because it's not about that. But yes, I'm excited about this one. This is following a woman who's kind of like a washed-up actress who had some secrets in her past from Ireland, and she ran to LA to hide, but she can't get any work, and she misses being an actress, and she suddenly gets a job that is probably too good to be true. So she takes the job, and it actually takes her back to Ireland in this remote filming location, and it's like a skeleton crew of people. It turns out that the script is actually being brought to life, and unfortunately, it is a horror thriller movie script. So this one's really fun. It's different. I'm enjoying it. This book is so heavy. So this is going to be part of my thriller one. I'm really enjoying this one so far. The next one that I want to read for October, and I probably will get to this one like 100%, is The Family Game by Catherine Steadman, and this is obviously one of the Book of the Month picks. My Book of the Month came like 2 days after I ordered it. It was crazy. So this one is, I know there's like games. Yeah, the rules. Listen carefully, do your research, trust no one, run for your life. So, love thrillers that have games in them, like high stakes. I really liked the movie Ready or Not. So, this is giving me Ready or Not vibes, and I'm really excited. It says, a rich, eccentric family, a time-honored tradition, a lethal game of survival. One woman is about to find out if she has what it takes to join her husband's family in the riveting must-read thriller from the author of Something in the Water. So, yeah, it sounds like it's got some Ready or Not vibes. So, 100%. Might pick this up next and also include it in the thriller vlog because this sounds really good. Next one that I want to read is going to be, I was going to say my cozy horror, but after reading the last book I read by Darcy Coates, which traumatized me, which one was it called? From Below. That book was so scary. So now I'm like, is this going to be a cozy horror? Because that one wasn't. But I'm going to pick up Dead Lake by Darcy Coates. And I probably will pick this one up because I try to read a Darcy Coates like every 2 or 3 months. I really, really like her books. And I think I have another one upstairs. I might pick that one up too. I don't know yet. But actually, I think I have 2 more upstairs. I have a couple of her books and I've read a couple. So I am really excited about this one. This looks like it seems like it's got some Riley Sager House Across the Lake vibes. It's a woman at a secluded lake, but it seems like there's something in the lake that's not quite right. And her books tend to always be paranormal. So there's going to be some sort of monster, ghost, creature, something in this book. So I'm really excited. I really enjoy her books, so. And the last one, again, a book that I got earlier this year that I was going to read for Summerween, but I wasn't in the mood. I didn't get through a lot in Summerween, but I really, really, really want to read The Children on the Hill by Jennifer Mcmahon. I want to pick up her other books, but I need to read this one first to make sure I actually like her writing. But this one sounds so good, and it's like a Frankenstein type of thing, where part of the plot takes place in 1978, and part of the plot takes place now, and it has to do with, like, podcasters and monster hunting, and it sounds so good. I am really, really excited about this, and I need to just sit down and actually focus and read and not be on TikTok all day, because that's what I do. I watch YouTube videos of all my booktubers that I watch, and I TikTok after that. So I really need to just like prioritize reading more because I feel like TikTok has helped put me in a reading slump. So I need to just prioritize reading more. That's what I need to do. So that's what we're going to do in October. October is going to be book month for me. So yes. Okay. Those are the books that I'm kind of hoping for. I definitely have other ones, and there's some that are coming out in October that I will be picking up. But these are kind of my initial feelings about what I want to read. Obviously, it's going to change as the month goes. I'm just going to go with the flow this month. Try and get out of that reading slump. I highly recommend that for anybody who's in reading slumps. Just go with the flow. Go with the flow. If you see a book you want to read, pick it up, read it. Don't think too much about it. And then if you want to DNF it, just DNF it. That's the worst thing. I am so bad about not wanting to DNF books that I won't, and then I'll suffer through them. So I need to get better at DNFing. I hate it though. Okay, we're going to talk about Stabathon. There are 5 prompts, and the first prompt is Ghostface, a villain point of view. Trying to think of any of these books that I have will have a villain point of view. Actually, I think the one I just held up, I think Children on the Hill has a villain point of view, because I think it's like the Frankenstein monster. Because I want to say I read like the first chapter. Yeah, so it has the monster point of view in here. So that would work for that. So that's exciting. So I already have one on the list. Number 2 is Gale and Dewey, a romance subplot. I don't know if any of these would have a romance subplot. Potentially The Family Game, because it says it's the woman's husband, but that's not like a romance subplot. I feel like that's going to be more like Ready or Not, and he's going to be like in on it, so it's less romance. Possibly Dead Lake, because Darcy Coates tends to always have a romance subplot in her books, except for the one I just read. So again, don't know. That's suspect though. And then possibly House of Hollow, because it's a young adult horror. And most of the time, young adult horrors, they have some sort of romance in them, even if it's like a small part of the book. So I have a couple that are going to be maybe. We'll see about that one. I might have to pick something else up. I always read something romance, so I don't know. Next one is Sydney Prescott. I love Sydney. The Final Girl Trope or a Slasher. Oh, I have a couple of that. Okay. That's definitely Runtime, what I'm currently reading. That's definitely going to fit in there. Probably. And, of course, Prom House. Prom House is definitely, this is a slasher. So either one of these is going to fulfill that prompt. So that's really good. Another one on there. And then not the last one. Jill Roberts. Jill. Young adult thriller / retelling. So I don't think, this is young adult, but it's horror. It's not thriller. Possibly, and then that other young adult, because the Ecstasia is also young adult, but it's a horror, not a thriller. I mean, I have a retelling, it's just not young adult, because What Moves the Dead is House of Usher retelling, but it's not young adult retelling. Interesting. I guess Prom House would actually count, because this is a thriller, this is a slasher. And this is young adult. So this would probably be work for that. So I'd probably do Runtime for Final Girl Trope Slasher, and then young adult thriller, Jill Roberts for Prom House. That works. And then the last one is Tara Carpenter, Female Relationships. Oh, 100%. 100%. The It Girl. The whole point is that it's like 2 girls who are friends, possibly frenemies is what I'm guessing, and then one of them goes missing. So that, 100%, that's going to be on there. That would be perfect. The only one, so out of those 5, the only one that I think would be an issue is the romance subplot. That's the only one I don't 100% have a book for. But that's exciting. I don't have to go out of my way to find another book. And they're all books that I want to read soon. So I would say female relationship, young adult thriller, holding too many books, final girl trope slasher, definitely final girl trope, romance subplot. I'm gonna stick House of Hollow. I'm gonna stick House of Hollow there for now. And then villain point of view. Children on the Hill. So that's kind of the books probably for Stabathon. That's a pretty good list. It's a pretty good list, and it's a bunch I want to get to. So I'm really excited. That is going to be my October hopeful video. I may come out with another one mid-month because there are other readathons going on right now. I'm just trying to focus short term. If I go too long term into the readathons, I will get overwhelmed. I will get overwhelmed. So probably next week after Stabathon is over, depending on how many books I read, because there's no way I'm going to read all 5. I don't work that much this week, actually, so it might be doable if I'm, like, feeling into it. But probably next week I'll start looking at the other readathons, and if I decide I want to partake in any, because this one may be too much for me already, but I don't know. I don't know. I know that at least one of the other big ones going on is, shoot, I don't want to say it wrong, Blackaween? I don't know, but that one sounds really cool. I know I have on my Amazon, I picked up Weight of Blood, which looks really good. Weight of Blood is about a girl who goes back to, like, her high school, who she had a lot of trauma because of the kids and the atmosphere and everything about that, and it's a Carrie retelling, but in the perspective of a Black woman. And it sounds really, really good, and I know it's like a book pick for a couple of book clubs. So that one's really exciting. So I'm probably going to try and tailor a reading list for that as well, but that will be coming out later as I deal with this first one first. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe for those updates, and I'm hoping I'm gonna have a lot of reviews this month. I'm very excited to put out reviews, and yeah, make sure to leave some comments down below if you've read any of these books, and if you have any book recommendations for October, I would love that. And that's all I've got for you guys, so I will see you guys in the next video.